What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of In the Fire. I'm here with my co-host, Luis Lopez.
What's up, guys?
Happy New Year, everybody. It's the new year, 2022. Yes, sir. 2021 was an interesting year for me.
I don't want to talk about it.
Why? What happened? What's wrong
let's
with
just
2021?
Let's just leave 2021 where it should be, and let's go and focus on like new stuff.
Look, I don't think it was that bad. Let me if I could describe 2021, I would describe it this way. 2020 was rough. That's when COVID hit. All that stuff happened, right? 2021 was full of lessons. That's how it was for me and the people around me. It's like it was like a year of growth.
Yeah.
It was more like a year of beating down, like so that we can get up and learn. But I think it was a good year in terms of that aspect.
It's kind of weird. I don't even know where to pinpoint exactly where 21 started. I don't know where my mindset was when 2021 started. I feel like I just so many different things that I was struggling with like in the past.
Yeah.
And now my mind is just like onto better things.
It was probably because 2020 kind of merged into 2021 because of COVID. Because the beginning was kind of like the same as the year before. But anyway, today's topic for episode 1, we want to talk about role models,
for sure.
People that we look up to. I want to start off with the definition of a role model, which is worthy of imitation, a person who possesses the qualities we would like to have.
Yeah, that's really good. I think like nobody ever thinks about role models that they intentionally think about who their role model is. I think it's like a natural thing. Like when you see somebody that you want to imitate just because you like the way they do things, it just comes naturally. Like I don't think at one day you're like, this is my role model. Like I don't feel like that doesn't really happen that much.
You don't think about it.
Yeah,
no.
I think it's like it's like happens automatically.
You kind of just start copying them, and then later you realize you're like, oh, I might be exactly like them. No.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like, what do you think makes a good role model?
Ooh, dude, there's a lot of qualities that they gotta have.
Yeah.
For us to look at them and want to copy them. I think it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Having a role model is different for everybody because some people look for different things in different people. I think a good role model involves somebody that's compassionate, somebody that's loving, somebody that not only to themselves but to everybody else. Confidence is also key, I think.
Definitely.
Because I think if somebody is like not confident in themselves, then how can you be a good role model to other people?
Yeah, I think what you said too about like how it depends on the person, I think it's really true. Like it's really different.
Yeah, because you seek something different than what I seek.
Yeah.
So you're attracted to different kinds of role models while I'm attracted to different ones.
And also like we have different values.
Yeah.
Like I might value something more than you might value the same thing. Yeah. Like I might value family more and maybe you like it's like whatever to you. Like it's just different.
For somebody listening that's wondering like, oh, like why should we care? Like why is this a topic that we want to talk about? Why do you think we should have a role model?
Well, it's like when you have a role model, and even you might not even know that you have a role model, you might just have one. It's really important because they influence you. They like shape you. You're like clay, and like the role model is like subconsciously shaping you into like a person you want to be. So like you might not even know that you have one, and you should start thinking about that because you want to realize what am I turning into? Like, who am I becoming in the future? Who am I going to be? And am I okay with that?
Yeah, because if you don't think about it, you'll end up getting molded, like you said, this clay, molded into something that you don't want to be.
You don't want to be, and you might not even know it.
Exactly.
And so you have to like think about like who are some people that I look up to, and like say, wow, that person has this. I want to be like that. That person has this. I want to imitate that. Like you have to ask yourself that question.
Okay. Who's your role model? I think everybody's wondering that. Who's your role model? It's changed over the years. It's changed over the years.
We grow into different like role models like as kids. Like first off, as kids, I think the automatic role model we have is our parents, which is just because we imitate our parents. Like when you see a son and a father, like the son is obviously like gonna be like the father, like the way he acts, he's gonna act. And you see like those funny kid videos where like the kid is like shaving his beard and he doesn't have one, but he's doing it just because his father's doing it. Like you're gonna imitate your parents, and so that's just one thing. But yeah, for me, I think, well, first off, before I got into like my faith, I remember like I guess you were a role model to me because a role model like it's like
I'm honored.
It's like it shows how one person ought to be, and that's like in whatever topic it is. So like you were that model of that person, the model of like a Christian person, a Jesus follower that I didn't know what that looked like. Like before you, I didn't know what that looked like because I didn't think about God. I didn't really care about it.
Right.
But you being that model to me showed me what that person, like what a person like you acts like, what a person like you like talks like. Okay. And that you became like that. So like, oh wow, that person, like you were that person to me. And before, my faith, for sure.
Okay, that was before. What about now? Yeah. If you had to pick one right now, who's your role model?
Oh man. I think maybe my youth pastor.
Youth pastor.
Yeah, Thomas, just because like he just lives life. He has his wife, he has his kids. He's an amazing man.
Yeah.
Youth pastor Thomas. He just helps out. He's a good person. He's a nice person, and he's
gonna be blushing when he watches.
Oh yeah, I feel like he's gonna be like, oh, Lewis.
Yeah.
No, but I think so for sure. He's been there a lot for me, and every time I had like an issue, I'd go to him just because I know he has wisdom.
Right.
Like you have to, like, dude, how important is it to have somebody that has wisdom?
Yeah.
Like I think it says like in the Bible, like surround yourself around wise people, and then you will become wise.
Yeah. There was another one that's similar. It was like, surround yourself with wise people, you'll become wise. Yeah. Surround yourself with foolish people, and you'll become foolish. Yeah.
And like that's not even you have to go to church. Like that's just like a normal wise thing for anybody that might not be a Christian or just somebody that goes with anybody.
And like how we talked about before is like acknowledging who your role models are, but it's also acknowledging who you're surrounding yourself with.
Yeah.
There's this saying that's like, oh, who you surround yourself with, you become, basically.
Yeah.
So your friend group, everything that they do, you're going to start doing. Everything that they want to do, you're going to start wanting to do. So it's like you got to always make sure you're surrounding yourself around the good people.
Yeah. Definitely. It has a big effect on you, and you mimic people even though you might not seem like you are intentionally. Again, it's like a subconscious thing.
So he's like, why you copy your friends? Like, I don't copy my friends.
Yeah, I don't copy my friends. Like you would start saying something. I remember we used to say Buster. Like, what's up, Buster? And like everybody started saying Buster just because like that's normal. It's normal for you to like I guess inherit in a way like people's attributes when you are surround yourself around those people.
It's funny because I spent a lot of time with my best friend, and he, like, sometimes people would come up to me and be like, yo, you sound just like him. Like, I say the same things he does, and it's like, and sometimes I don't even realize it. I just go along with whatever, and I say the same thing he does.
It's so true. You're so right. I have my one best friend too, like Nico. Like, I realized that I would make jokes like him. Yeah. I would start having speech patterns like him, just because like I hang out with him a lot, and it's true.
Yeah. That brings me on to my next topic. What if let's say Nico, if he acted in a bad way, that's gonna affect you. How does that affect you? How does that affect somebody?
Well, first time you start questioning them, like, wait, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Because you start thinking, wait, was that person always like this? Did they was who they were fake?
Yeah. Like,
were they just playing? Like, were they just like playing an act, like playing a role, instead of actually being authentic, which is something that's really important. If you're not authentic with people, and like for you to act a certain way with me, and you go with your friends, you act a different way. It's like
nobody likes
nobody likes a fake person.
Yeah.
Like that shows a lack of integrity.
Right.
Integrity is what I learned is like being the same no matter who you're with.
Yeah.
And of course, like you'll be closer with like your family or your friends. That goes without like saying. But if you act completely different when you're with like maybe a group of friends at school. Then when you go to youth group or something, you're like, yo,
what's going on here?
Weird. You're not really authentic. But what you were saying,
I guess that's another attribute that a role model should have is being authentic.
Yeah,
exactly.
for sure. And no, but like if let's say Nico would say do something, I would be like, yo, why would you do that? I'd be like, why'd you do that? And like question it and ask and get to the bottom of it, because that's how we overcome issues and solve problems with communication. So like if I just saw that. And then was like, okay, Nico, I'm out. Like, what kind of person would I be? Just to like see one person fall, like see a person fall and then leave.
Right.
Like, I would want to understand why you did that.
And that goes for the same even when you don't have a close relationship. Like right now, you're talking about an example of when you're with your best friend. But if we look up to, let's say, little kids that are looking up to celebrities, you know, somebody that you don't have a close relationship to, but they're still your role model. When that person makes a mistake, it destroys your world because what you do when you look up to a role model is you're taking these notes like, oh, this person is like this person is like this. And then the second they make a mistake, you're like, oh, maybe that shouldn't be my role model.
Yeah.
So you
start questioning
thinking, But then again, it goes with what you said. when they make a mistake, you don't just leave. You don't just go, all right, you made a mistake. I'm finding a new role model. Because although you don't have a personal connection, you created a connection with that person because they're your role model.
Like you made the decision for them to be your role model for a reason.
So you don't just leave.
Yeah.
So that brings me on to what I wanted to say was when a role model messes up, and everybody makes mistakes.
Of course.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Nobody's,
right?
Yeah.
So there's no such thing as the perfect role model. Unless we're talking about Jesus.
Yeah, but in terms of people.
So when that person messes up, the important thing is to get up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? And that goes about everybody that's listening, everybody, right? If you want to be a good role model, it's not about not making those mistakes.
Yeah.
It's about overcoming those mistakes.
Definitely.
Because, for example, let's say I look up to you, right? You make a mistake. I'm not going to leave. I'm going to stay and watch, be like, oh, let's see how he handles this. If you handle it in a mature, in a wise way, I'm going to be like, wow, that's so good. And then I'm going to want to imitate you.
Yeah, I feel like that overcoming a situation like that is even more like, wow, now I want to be more like you.
Exactly.
Because you took this situation that you fell in, but you actually got back up. And so I feel like that's like a cool thing that you want to actually imitate too. Yeah. It'd make you more like eager to imitate that person, is if you see them overcome an obstacle like that.
Not just that, but you also learn not to fall in the same hole they did.
Exactly.
And that's what a role model is good for.
Definitely. Like we live in a generation where I think a lot of people want to have mentors. Yeah. And like this is my mentor, this is my mentor. And like I think it's good. Like it's good to have a mentor.
It's always great to have a mentor.
Like we know that experience is wisdom. Like going through something is good because you learn through that. Yeah. But if somebody can just tell you don't go that way because there's a hole, then you're gonna fall. Yeah. Instead of you just going there and falling, like how much easier is that for that person to tell you?
We usually end up falling in the hole anyway.
Yeah, just because like, you know what, I'm gonna do my own thing. No, but it's true. Like if you have somebody that can give you wisdom on like a path they've already been on. Yeah. That's why everybody wants to have a mentor, because they've been there already. They know the experience. They know everything. And now they're going to share that wisdom onto you. Right. Because we don't. And that's also, that comes with being like humble too. Yeah. Like in order to even have a role model, you have to realize that you aren't everything. Like you don't have everything that you want to be. Like
humble down.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the starting point to having a role model is also knowing that you have to be humble. Like you have to tell yourself, I'm not good.
We got to make a list of all the attributes for a role model, because that's just another good one. But I wanted to ask you too, do you think that something can be a role model to you? Let's say like a relationship, because right now we're talking about certain people, you have one mentor, but in my life, sometimes I look, and let's say in my love life, a lot of times I look up to my brother's older relationship because it's a really healthy one. They've been together for a long time and they seem really happy. So a lot of times I tell myself, like, I kind of take mental notes, like I should probably, follow in my brother's footsteps, right? Yeah. In the way he acts, and the way he does stuff, and the way he doesn't do stuff. Definitely. That way, one day I could achieve that relationship that he has.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like if you can, because like it shows you what a flourishing relationship is. Yeah. If you were always surrounded by relationships that didn't work, then what are you gonna think? You're gonna think, I don't want to be a part of I don't want to have a girlfriend or boyfriend because I know how that. Yeah. What happens when you do that? Right. But like if you're able to like have a role model be a thing, which is like a good relationship, a flourishing relationship, then yeah, of course, because then you want to have that. Right. It like it shows what it is. Like I said before, like a role model is how a person ought to be in this like scenario, and I guess in this scenario it's a relationship. How a relationship ought to be. Ought to be. Yeah, no. Ought. Yeah, that's a cool big word.
You should write the Bible.
No, dude.
Yeah, out.
I feel like if I read the Bible with me, I'd just procrastinate. That Bible would not finish.
Hey, it'd be a good topic. It'd be like Lewis and overcoming procrastination.
Dog. I'm still working on that, man.
Okay, so now let's say we talked about acknowledging that we're role models. Yeah. Acknowledging our role models to make sure we're following in good footsteps. Mm-hmm. Now, we talked about also not dipping right away when we see a mistake. Yeah. But what happens when there's a constant pattern in that role model and you see yourself falling into their footsteps?
I think that just like, what's that person's values? Like maybe somebody falling is like normal to that person. Like, oh, that's just something we do. Like that's like, where's your moral standpoint? But also if you see, like, if there's something with your role model that's like, they keep on doing this thing and you just don't like it. Yeah. And you're like, that's not good. I think it's like also that's also you realizing that maybe I shouldn't copy this person. Maybe I shouldn't try to imitate and be this person or let this person influence me because I realize that what this person does is not edifying. It's not like gonna.
It's probably time to let go.
Yeah.
That's probably your sign. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you go about removing somebody like that from your life? Because, like I said, when you have a role model, you kind of create that connection with somebody.
Well, I think it's like just shifting gears, like shifting your eyes towards like, okay, or maybe just like, if you can, try to help that person out. If it's a personal like relationship, if it's like a celebrity, then you can just be like, okay, I'm not gonna look at that anymore.
I think for me, it was a group. I think we grew up together.
Yeah.
I think that friend group at the moment was in a different mindset than I was. And so like I knew I had to separate myself from that group for a while. And I did, and I found a new friend group and they were good for the meantime. And then we're back together, but oh, what a cute story.
Yeah, right. He came back after like a few years after I had different high schools and stuff. Yeah, but that's true. Yeah, for sure.
The way you live your life, do you think you're a good role model for other people?
I would say, well, because every time I think about my life, I think about, what am I struggling on? Like, what am I struggling? And right now I'm kind of struggling on like I said, procrastinating and stuff and preparing and stuff. So I think for me, it's like different aspects. Like maybe if somebody was like, if I was a role model to somebody and it was because they want to be more loving, but yes, I'll be a role model to you.
Yeah.
Because I really value that. I really value being a loving person towards everybody.
But so like what you just said, like somebody comes up to you like, oh, I want to imitate you, right? I think another important aspect is realizing that people are watching you even when you don't know it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And it's like when you go out in public, you should be presenting yourself in the best way possible because people are watching you. And even if you don't notice, even if it's your friends, you're probably thinking like, oh, my friends, why would they copy me? Like they're their own person, whatever. Yeah. But a lot of times they do what you do or they look at what you do and be like, oh, like he's making a mistake. He's not making a mistake. Yeah. So it's important that you present yourself in a good way, especially as a Christian.
Definitely. And also with that comes like a lot of people, some people in like friend groups have leadership qualities, right? Yes, like I feel like if you go to a group of friends, you can find the leader, right? And it's like it's kind of subconscious, like you can find who that leader person is, who's like, all right guys, let's do this, let's do that, and it's like natural because that's who that person is. Like everybody like in this world has different, like we're all different, we're all unique. Some people are leaders, some people are like they do things in the back, like just people are different. And when you have a leader in a group, like you subconsciously follow that person, and just like them, like that leader in that group, just whatever they do, you're gonna follow that for sure.
Right.
Definitely. And you gonna say something?
No.
Okay.
You're gonna say something?
No, I kind of brain farted. Not gonna lie, I had a big brain fart. Oh yeah, making sure that responsibility of actually being a role model.
Okay.
Like what you said, like you're a role model and you might not know it.
Yeah.
So wherever you go, like make sure you know like how you're acting is influencing people. Yeah. Just with like being a leader in a group, like you have to understand if you're subconsciously influencing somebody by the way you act.
Especially if you have a younger sibling, they always copy you. Yeah. I used to get so bad because I'd be like, I don't like broccoli. And then my little brother would be like, I don't like it either. I'd be like, you've never tried it. And he'd be like, I don't care. I don't like it. And my mom would get mad at me because she's like, stop implementing these things into his brain. And I was like, I don't like that he copies me. I was like, I want to get those cleats for soccer. And he's like, I want to get those too. I'd be like, yo, like, get your own cleats. And then when I was younger, it bothered me. But I feel like we should be honored that people want to imitate us, because we're a good image for them. But yeah, younger siblings are always somebody that copy us and want to do the same thing we do. So it's always important that, especially at home, outside, how you interact with your friends, how you interact with like a loved one, whatever it is, you should always be acting and presenting yourself in the best way possible because that younger sibling or that younger person is always watching you. So
yeah, and you can like ask yourself like, am I a good role model? Like just take a few minutes, ask yourself, like have a good evaluate yourself in like different aspects. Like, am I a person that is able to be role modeled? Like, am I good in this area? Maybe I need to work on something in this area, and just do that so you can know if you are like able to, and like that also, that can just help you grow.
Yeah,
because like 100%. Success is knowing where you are, knowing where you want to be, and like also knowing how to get there.
Ooh, that was
so
good.
Like
say that again.
If you want to be, I'm saying people's back.
Say it
Success
again,
is knowing where you are, knowing where you want to be, and knowing how to get there. So if you evaluate yourself and say, maybe I'm not too good in this area, I want to work on that.
Yeah.
Take the steps to work on it, and so that you can go to that place of success and be like, I was successful in that place because of what I did. But that doesn't happen until you actually evaluate yourself and be like, and again, take that humble step and say, I'm not good in this area.
Right.
I'm not good at being disciplined. I'm not good at being
There's
nice.
A lot of times where like I'll mess up and I'm like, I don't want anybody to see that part of me. Because it's like you have your good side, you have your bad side, and then it's like I don't want anybody to see that bad side. But instead of hiding it, it's acknowledging it and implementing growth. So stopping yourself from doing all that stuff or overcoming it so that the people around you can see that and improve from it.
Definitely. And a big thing is to not not hide stuff. Like if you let like what you do, like just you hide it, it kind of grows. And so if you gotta like look at things at face value, you gotta look at things the way things are, like black and white. Like this is not good, this is good. This is not good, this is good. Instead of like kind of putting it to the side and not thinking about it, because it grows and it makes things worse. And so when you realize that this thing is wrong, I need to work on this. That's how you be successful. That's what success is. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely, bro.
Yeah. So I'll ask you a question. I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
Where do you think you can like grow and like what's an area where you just like, man, I'm not good at this, and like if you're able to share that, where you think you can become like again with that success thing.
Yeah.
Where you think where you want to be and where you are right now.
I believe in self-confidence, and I believe in like, thinking like highly of yourself, not too high, but like highly of yourself enough to tell yourself that you can do things and push through.
Yeah, I know you're like that.
But sometimes I could see it getting carried away, like especially through my little brother, because a lot of times I'll get mad at him and be like, dude, you gotta humble yourself, because he'll walk and be like, I'm the best at math, I'm the best at soccer. I'm like, bro, like, chill out. Yeah. Chill out, because your friend's not gonna like that. But then like I would, like you said, reevaluate myself.
Reevaluate.
Yeah, we definitely butchered that.
Yeah, I don't know.
You look back at yourself and you're like, I was the same way as him. I was the same way. Because when I was younger, people used, you're so cocky. You're so like... So that's definitely one thing that I got to work on. Like I said, I do believe in self-confidence. Yeah. So not putting myself down, but definitely humbling myself.
And I think, first of all, I admire that for you. Because like it's cool to be self-confident. Like when you're just like self-confident in yourself, like you can just do whatever and like not overthink and not question it. But like, where's the line between that and pride?
Yeah, 100%.
Like that's kind of what I want to ask you. Like where do you think that line stops, or where that line ends?
I think the line ends, like it should end when you start comparing yourself. Like let's say for example at the church, like whenever we have youth group or life groups, sometimes I'll look back and be like, oh, like my wisdom is better because I've been a Christian longer. But so that's something that like I would like to change about myself, is stop comparing myself to other people, because everybody's on a different journey. Everybody's on. So the second my pride compares to somebody else, like it's okay to have pride in yourself and confidence in yourself. But once you start comparing yourself to other people, that's when you should draw the line. So that's something that I need to work on, because I know people will start copying me or looking up to me. Definitely. Like my little brother. And
that's good. That's good. And I think that where that goes is like we're all like on a journey. Yeah. We're all in this walk of life, and we're all trying to get better at something. Yeah. And whether it's like, make sure you're not pride or try not to procrastinate. Yeah. We all have aspects where we can grow on. Like there's not one person that's like, I don't have to grow in anything.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. And if you say that, you're probably not sitting down and looking at your life. Yeah.
I think I have to have like a humble emotion.
Yeah. Like, yeah, maybe a little bit.
I think this would be like the symbol of humility.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Maybe
go down. Yeah, but no, we're all on this walk, and we should be humble to recognize where we need to grow in and where we want to become better at. And that goes to the verse I want to share. Okay. While I was reading my biblioteca, which is how I call Bible.
Biblioteca. Very nice.
So it's Galatians 6:4-5. It says, "Pay careful attention to your own work, for then you will get the satisfaction of a job well done, and you won't need to compare yourself to anyone else."
Dang. We just talked about it too.
Yeah, I know. For we are each responsible for our own conduct. Yeah. I mean, like, that's good.
It is good.
Pay careful attention to your own work. Like whatever you're doing, like make sure your eyes are fully on that.
Yeah.
And then you won't have to compare yourself to people, which I think is crazy.
Like, and that's the line that I just talked about. Once you start comparing, that's when it's bad. So if you can get to that point that you're talking about where you don't have to compare yourself, that's the point that we all want to be at.
And like obviously they're saying that because they want everybody to not compare, and like they're saying that I feel because they recognize that people compare themselves to people.
Oh yeah.
And that's a common thing.
Yeah.
Like everybody compares people like themselves to people.
That's why the world is at the place that it's at right now, especially because of social media. Like it pushes that. You know, you look at posts, you're like, oh, I want to be. You start comparing. Comparing is a huge thing. So
yeah, I remember I heard this one time. It was like compare to despair. Like if you keep comparing yourself to people, you're gonna start becoming a bit more sad. You're gonna be like, you're not gonna feel like everything sucks, and you're gonna complain because your life is not like that person's life. Yeah, like comparison is terrible, and definitely what you said, being self-confident but not letting pride like become part of that. Yeah, but instead 100%. Of just being confident, not compare yourself, and just being yourself. Yeah, because that's the main thing.
If you had to conclude the episode that we talked about, first thing is have a role model. You know, realize who those role models are and why they are.
Evaluate. Dude, what the heck? I'm not gonna be able to say
let's just avoid the word.
What's the other word for that?
Just look at, maybe like examine.
Yeah. Examine if think about if you have one. Like maybe somebody's saying I don't have one. Well, first off, think who is a person that you let influence you. Yeah. And who's a person that you want to imitate? Who's the person you want to become? Yeah. So just doing that, recognizing that you could be a role model to somebody, whether it's a sibling or a friend, and asking yourself am I a good role model? Dang. Like am I enough so I can say, am I a person that can be role modeled? Am I a person that people want to imitate?
You just summed it up beautifully.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That was the first episode of In the Fire. We appreciate you guys. If you're listening on Spotify, iTunes, or watching us on YouTube, we love you guys, and we'll see you for the next episode.
Take care.
Peace out. And
I'm Angel.